Welcome back to this episode of Adventures with Annie Peguero. Don't forget to go over to my website at anniepeguero.com and sign up for my masterclass, Service-Based to Thousands. This is the Adventures with Annie Peguero podcast. This podcast is dedicated to helping badass women get out of your comfort zone and into alignment with your soul's purpose. You are going to find these episodes valuable and transformational. Thank you for listening. Welcome back to this episode of Adventures with Annie Peguero. Don't forget to go over to my website at anniepeguero.com and sign up for my masterclass, Service-Based to Thousands. If you've been listening to a few episodes, you've heard me talk about Sarah Carter's new book. If you don't have Sarah Carter's book, How to Make Successful Life Changes, you need to go and grab that right away. It's over on Amazon. Sarah was a Navy pilot flying some of the most exciting planes for the United States Navy, and she left that career to become a military spouse and mom. So to talk about change, Sarah is a total expert. She walks you through steps and questions to ask yourself when making any type of change in your life. It doesn't have to be a big earth-shattering one. It can even just be the smallest changes that maybe you've been sitting on for years. Sarah's book, All About Change, is very insightful. It's available on Amazon and also on Sarah's website. Here's a warning for today's episode. In this episode, I'm going to talk about orgasms. I'm going to talk about your body. I'm going to talk about mindset. I'm going to talk about thought loops. And if you're not used to hearing those things from me, I get it. I don't usually talk about that, but it has been a tremendous shift to really focus on my own pleasure, my own happiness, my own body. At the age of 47, and to realize how much I have been people pleasing. So if that intrigues you, if you're like, I want to know more about this, I want to know, what I can do to facilitate joy in my own life, it's time to step outside the box a little bit. Time to, really take ownership of your life, 100% responsibility, radical responsibility, like I like to say, and, really stop looking outside to external circumstances for your own joy and pleasure. And I also mean to your spouse. Like, let's really normalize taking control of our own peace, joy, and happiness. All right, let's get into it. As you know, in my life and in my work, I work with women. I work with mostly female entrepreneurs and helping them get outside of their own self-doubt, really recognize limiting beliefs that we're putting on ourselves, and really stepping into and reclaiming your personal power. Now, this isn't just for entrepreneurs. This is for humans as a whole. But that's who I mostly work with. Like my clients that hire me are mostly female entrepreneurs. I also have a life coaching business where if you're not a female entrepreneur, but you want to work through reclaiming your personal power, you can certainly work with me to do that. And I'm speaking today talking about my own clients and my own personal experience with reclaiming my own personal power. And the very specific things that I'm going to talk about today are your brain, orgasm, and action. And like I said in the beginning, if you haven't heard me chat about this in the past, maybe you're like, oh, we've never talked about orgasm here on the podcast. That is true. I've only talked about this in, private, personal, in-person settings. And I figure, why? Why just talk about it in private? Let me just put it out there and really share it so that women who are in need of hearing this can hear it and apply it to your own life. So, all right, let's ask a question, okay? Looking at your own life and your own actions and your own patterns, I want you to really identify how much of it is fear-based. How much of either your action or inaction comes from a place of fear or perceived intimidation, or if you don't do X, then Y and Z will happen, or something like that. So how much action do you take in your life because of fear? And also, how much action do you not take in your life because of fear? And I want you to really sit with that for a minute and really pay attention to what that brings up in your body. Do you feel triggered by that? Do you immediately find yourself feeling triggered and saying, well, you don't know what's going on in my life, or I have so much going on, or I have, like, my work tempo is very stressful. I'm in a high stress job. I have a husband who does X, Y, and Z. So I want you to first recognize what comes up for you. If you are feeling like you're easing into this and you're saying, you're getting curious and you're saying, okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. Let's chat about this. Okay. Or if you're feeling triggered, and, if you are feeling triggered, I want to let you know that's normal. I definitely was triggered, I think back in 2017, 2018, when I had a coach who I didn't hire her. She just told me, she's like, you have a lot to work on. Like, you have a lot of work to do on yourself. And I was reminded of that because it came up in my Facebook Live history, because I did a video about it. And I remember I wasn't angry, but I definitely was triggered because I felt like, wow, I've already done so much on my work on myself. Like, why is it so clear and obvious that I still have so much work to do? So I was quite triggered. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to not do. I didn't know how to kind of heal this trauma that was within myself. So just that awareness, just bringing up awareness of the feelings that are coming about in your body when I talk about things like brain, orgasm, and action, and fear, okay? Worthiness, what ifs, and what would happen if you speak up about whatever it is? What would happen if you articulate how you're truly feeling? What would happen if you articulate that you are not pleased in your relationship, in your job, you have different expectations from your children? Okay, all of these things are things that I've experienced in my own life, and also things that I've seen within my own clients and peer group of friends also. So one thing that I will say about our brain and how our brains work is that we can easily become trapped in negative thought loops and see ourselves as victims to our own circumstance, victims to our busyness, victims to the tempo of the busyness of our family, of our husband's mood, our spouse, it doesn't have to be a husband, our spouses, our partners' mood, and the angles at which they come at life. Okay. And, you married this person, but you are not there to fix or repair or help this person heal from their trauma. And that, is a kind of a tough pill to swallow, because you're like, I'm this person's partner. I'm here to help them. I'm here to enjoy this life together. And maybe you're feeling really stifled, or like you're stuck in a place because of your spouse's energy. Well, what I'm offering here in this episode is a way to kind of reclaim your own personal power. And the three ways that I'm offering are through your thoughts, through your brain, through orgasm, and through action. Okay. So maybe you've heard, other people say, well, if you just had more sex, your relationship would feel more exciting. There'd be more of a spark. There'd be more of a connection. Well, I'm going to challenge that. I'm going to challenge that and say, what if you didn't look to external sex and pleasure? When I say external, I guess I couldn't really, think of another way to say it, but external, like, sex with another human, and, anything, any actions or pleasure inducing actions. I'm getting like all technical here, but, anything like with your partner, and only explored, got curious, asked questions about your own body and what really brings you joy. Like, really, for a moment, taking down those barriers of the way that you are when you're having sex with your spouse, or the way that your spouse is enjoying you and having in the act of sex with you. So what if you just remove that barrier, okay, and really only looked deep into your pleasure center, to your brain, to your body, and to find what brings you pleasure. So as we all know, as women, the clitoris has 8,000 nerve endings, and there's very much a school of thought that there's one reason and one reason only is to feel good. I've been reading some different articles about how, the clitoris is highly responsible for reproduction, and which only makes sense. Like when we have the ability to relax and feel pleasure, sperm are more likely to be able to find their way to the egg. I mean, it takes the uterus into a different position. And listen, I'm not a scientist. I have a master's of science, but I am not a scientist of the body. This is, purely my own experience and personal opinion, and from my own research on myself and my own clients, and from what I've consumed over the years. But okay, that being said, it's both. I really feel that it's both. I mean, our body is specifically designed for pleasure, and it also for the purpose of reproduction. Okay, so why not use it? Okay. Like why not explore like a non-penetrating sexual intercourse with somebody else, and explore your own body and find out what truly makes you happy, like what truly brings you pleasure and specifically brings you to orgasm. And in certain circles where I've talked about this, women were like, "Oh, Annie, I don't have time for that. Maybe when I retire, I'll have time for an orgasm or, pleasuring myself or whatever." And my reaction was, OMG, like, you, what? Like, seriously, you will experience a tremendous shift in your own mindset, your own feelings of joy regularly when you take back your power and really find out what brings you pleasure, specifically in bringing yourself to orgasm. Now, I mean, I don't care what method you use. I mean, that is your own choice and decision, but a very easy way is just a vibrator, like a small handheld one, like simply just your hands or whatever. I mean, any type of way of bringing yourself to orgasm and really infusing that energy of your orgasm into whatever you do. So think about it, like picture it, okay? You are in a state of pleasure, you're having this orgasm, and instead of, when you're having this orgasm, you are involved in an act with your spouse. Imagine what it would be like if on a regular basis, you are having an orgasm purely and 100% for your own pleasure, your own satisfaction, your own exploration of bringing back your own power and infusing that power. And when I say power, listen, I don't mean like control freak, like whatever. I'm talking about your own essence, your own beauty, your own joy that is inside of you that can get buried underneath circumstance, busyness, negative thought loops. Listen, all of the circumstances. So what I'm suggesting here is that you make time in your life to bring yourself to orgasm. That's it. Simple. I mean, people have been talking about this and doing this for thousands of years, and I feel like it's become too taboo, especially when I witness the reaction of people when I bring it up in personal circles. And I really want to shine light on this to make sure that you're aware that you are in control of your joy. You're in control of your joy. We don't have to feel resentful to our busy schedules, resentful to, our spouse's busy life, and maybe, anything that is happening during the actions with your spouse. Like there's no pressure. There's no pressure when it's just you. Okay. You are simply exploring your own body. Okay. I think that I have emphasized the importance of it enough. Okay. I think we're all super crystal clear on why I'm saying that this is so important. And another reason why is because when you go about your day, right? At work, whatever it is you do for work. And if you're an entrepreneur, if you're sitting down to write email copy, you want that email copy infused with your pleasure. You want it infused with joy. You want it infused with your magnetism, not what is going through your brain from circumstance to circumstance and busyness and negative thought loops and, stress and worry. Take a minute for yourself, right? Go have an orgasm and then come back to the computer and do your writing. Then come back and have your meeting with your clients. And if you're thinking to yourself, oh my goodness, I can't, she's saying have an orgasm and then go to my Zoom meeting. Yes, I am. I'm saying that and I'm saying it loud because you will notice a tremendous shift in your energy when you embrace this. And please message me on Instagram, send me an email, whatever, and let me know. I mean, you don't have to get into detail of anything specific, but I just want to hear how this has shifted your thought process, how maybe a negative loop that you're going through in your brain can be stopped and replaced with joy, with your own personal power, with freedom, with energy. I mean, pleasure, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Okay, you'll notice how your thought process shifts. You'll notice how the way you speak to your children shifts. I mean, there's something really magical and beautiful about knowing what makes you happy. And when I say happy, I'm talking about pleasure. What makes you joyful, feel empowered with beautiful, powerful, feminine energy, which so often we push down because we are busy, because we are in mom mode, we're in corporate mode, we're in business mode, right? We have a lot of that yang energy going on. So I'm asking you to bring it back to yin, right? Like bring it back, which doesn't mean that you have to wear pink all the time, that you have to do up your makeup, that you have to, do anything in the external. It is only purely a 100% internal and this isn't a bad word, like selfish. It's all for self pleasure and to see what you're capable of when you open up and allow this joy and pleasure to come into your life. Okay. I did an experiment. I wanted to see what would happen if I brought myself to orgasm every day for 3 weeks. I wanted to see what would happen. Well, what happened was, some of the days I was like literally too tired. I was like, I just can't even with this. But some days I was excited. I was excited for what was going to happen after. It's kind of like that workout. Like you're in the parking lot of the gym. You want to go into the gym. You're going to feel amazing after, but like the going in there and making time for it was kind of like frustrating and annoying. But after I got past that, I recognized that I was taking time for me. I was taking time to love myself in a different way than an Epsom salt bubble bath or a walk in the woods, but in a way that was purely personal, intimate with myself, feminine, with no expectations, with only the gift of my own body, and no need for any type of walls or blocks or, insecurities or whatever. Like, I could make whatever faces I wanted to. And, I know that's a lot, but it's true. It's 100% true. And you'll notice that you will be able and feel motivated and inspired to take action, and the action that comes from your heart center, action that comes from joy and purpose, without any type of fear or worry. What other people say will suddenly mean less and less to you. You will feel a heightened awareness of your own worthiness and beauty, and that fear will melt away. And if you're new to this concept, you're going to be like, "What? How can this all happen?" Trust me, it happens, and it's a truly remarkable thing, and it is a special superpower that a lot of women don't even never tap into in their whole life. And I don't want that for you. I want you to know that this is here for you. And, at any time you can experience this incredible pleasure and joy. And it doesn't have to be like this, leather whips and chains, like, sex thing. I think that that's what sometimes we think about when we think about our own pleasure and joy, and that there are these external expectations. Like that's a whole nother podcast episode, but that's definitely not, what this is all about. 100% just about, feeling the empowered and powerful, beautiful feminine energy within you. And then, like I said, leading from your mindset to your pleasure and then into action. And you will notice the energy that goes into everything that you do will shift. And it can happen like in an instant, like immediately, like that very same day, or within, right away, your next actions that go into after your own pleasure session. I mean, it's just a really beautiful and remarkable thing. So, I challenge you, I challenge you to do this, and to really allow and to notice what has come up inside of your body as I'm talking about this, and to really notice if you feel fearful, if you feel any way about moving forward with curiosity. And if you do, that's good. That's fine. I want you to get curious, and I want you to ask yourself why those feelings are there, and start to kind of peel back the layers of what might be preventing you from feeling pleasure. And I'm here to chat about this with you. If you want to chat more, you can certainly, book sessions with me. I have a package of 4, which you can do by reaching out to me on my website, anniepeguero.com, or anywhere that you can find me on Instagram or on Facebook. It has been my pleasure to chat with you about this today. I'd love to hear what you think. And go forth. Have pleasurable moments with yourself, and really see the beauty and the joy that you'll be able to infuse into your life when you take time for yourself in that way. Thank you so much. This was so fun, and I'll talk to you next time. I'm sure this episode was super valuable for you. Please leave me a review. A written review would mean so very much over on Apple Podcasts. And I really want to hear from you. Send me a message over on Instagram, and check out all of the free downloads that I have over on my website at anniepeguero.com. If you haven't purchased Sarah Carter's book yet, it's available over on Amazon. Her book is called How to Make Successful Life Changes, and it will absolutely help you make even the smallest change in your life. She asks you some very specific and brilliant questions that will help you to kind of get to the root of why you're feeling stuck. Sarah Carter is her name. You could find her on Instagram, her website, In With the New You. She's a life coach, and her book is called How to Make Successful Life Changes. Thanks for listening. And remember, you can always apply to have an advertising spot on my podcast, you can go over to my Instagram. There's a link right there in my bio to apply for an advertising spot. I love working with brands and individuals who, we have a connection and our work aligned. So I'm happy to review your application. Thank you so much, and I can't wait for our next episode.